And we're underway. It's a nooner quickie. 1 p.m. on a Monday. I'm doing the pod here with Ace. It's Chris. It's episode 12 of the Puck Drop Pod. We're doing it in the afternoon. You'll notice I'm doing it in a different part of the house because I'm having some rigidity issues with my mic stand. So it's very good today. I've been seeing a doctor for it. I've been prescribed medication.
Yeah, they make blue pills for that now.
They make them the blue pills. Yeah, so we're going to try that, see how that works. A little afternoon delight, as the great Ron Burgundy wants it. Gonna find my baby, gonna hold her tight, gonna grab some afternoon delight. We're going to talk about the food. My motto's always been when it's right. Right.
There's more.
We're done.
We're done.
Sky rockets boop,
Delight.
boop. All right, we're done. Episode 12. We have... it's getting close to the Festivus season. If you're a Seinfeld fan, you know the Festivus for the rest of us. Yeah, right. And
here comes Jerry again.
I got a lot of problems with you people, and now you're going to hear about it. And that's what I think today's show should kind of be about, because we've got some problems that have rectified themselves. We have problems that are big problems now. And I want to start with the head coach, and I want to get your thoughts on this, because a couple games ago, Michkov gets benched. Your leading scorer, Matvey Michkov, by the way, gets benched for 2 games. One, okay, I get 2, a little excessive. I mean, you won the first game that that he was benched in. However, you lost me on that one. He lost me.
Yeah.
And that was the first time that I think that I've questioned John Tortorella, his impact on the team. Yeah. And that's probably the best word to say is process. Because what process is there? Look, he's 19. He's your leading scorer. And for me, when you started this season, you were like, hey, we're not gonna throttle him. We're gonna let him be creative. We're gonna do all this. And then
hold him back.
We're not gonna hold him back. We're gonna let him go. And so in the process of letting him go, he is your best dynamic player you have. The best one you've had in 25 years.
Yeah.
And what do? You scratch him for 2 games. Now, this is the same team that had... Right.
He lost you then.
Yeah, lost me. Morgan Frost still on... Well, he actually did get benched afterwards, but at the time, he was not. Farabee still plays every game. You've got...
That's unbelievable.
Scott Lawton. Is he play? You could have gotten rid of Scott Lawton 2 years ago, and we would have been fine. Don't give me this. He's great in the locker room. Oh, my God. We got to have his leadership ability.
Such a locker room guy, though.
Such a room guy. You know what? That's great. And I appreciate Scott. But if you passed on a first-round pick and a player for Scott Lawton 2 years ago, that's just malpractice. It just is. So
wow, this might be the first time I completely disagree with you.
I love it. We need this. So I'm going to keep going. And see how badly you disagree with me now. So, so this is the first time, I guess, in his tenure that I was like, you know what, I'm out on Torts. Because here's another thing. So he benches this guy for his defensive play. Have you ever heard this? Hey, hockey expert, how good was Wayne Gretzky in his own zone? Nobody gave a damn. It was 5-on-5, though. Mario Lemieux was a liability at times. Get out of here. Nobody cares. You can still win games 5-4. It's fine. You're allowed to do that.
Oh, yeah. That's a win.
It's a win.
When you're lifting the cup over your head, no one cares what the score is.
No one gave a damn. Look, every player on your team is not going to be a Selke finalist. Just not.
Defensive stalwart.
Right. The team is going to be a little different. Can you let the kid just play? Can you just let him play? My thought process here, too, is I don't see the growth from everybody, right? Forster is regressing now. Farabee hasn't done anything. Frost is Frost. You just don't see what you would really like to see at this point in the game. Now, you disagree. You tell me why.
Yeah, well, that's loaded comment there. So Where I disagree the most, so I can, let's put it this way. I feel like we'll start with Mitchkoff and the scratching. So I did notice Michkov was having some slow games, not bad games, but slow games. Like he wasn't as remember how in the last episode we talked about how he constantly reminds me of Forsberg and Yager kind of mixed, sticking his
Yeah.
ass out and protecting the puck, going deep into the corner, and then
Face down, ass
I,
out.
yeah, exactly. He wasn't doing that,
Mm.
and a lot of people were saying it was because he was on a line with no namers. And if you remember the game before he got scratched, he was with Coots and TK again.
Mm.
And one of the things I noticed, I was like, wow, man, he's nowhere near the puck. Like, I don't know what's going on. And I think he was in his own head. Or I think he might have actually been tired because he had, if you do amount of games played starting at, you know, uh, camp, he's played the most games. I mean, he was in a lot of preseason games too. So even though it's only, 18 games into the season, at that point, he had already played like 20 games.
Mm.
I think the career high for him was what, like 55 games or something like that. So I saw him getting tired, and when he was tired, when you're tired, and you know this playing hockey, you fall back on defensive play, positional play, and just waiting for the game to come to you.
Not
And I think
moving
that's
your
what he was
feet.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, not moving your feet, not getting
Mm.
to the dirty zones, and that's what he was doing. And
Yeah.
the first game, I was like, all right, yeah, scratch him. He deserves it. He's tired. He probably needs a good rest. The big thing that I was excited about when they scratched him, it was in Tampa Bay, it wasn't home, so we didn't have to hear about the crowd being upset or, people not seeing him. And it was against Kucherov. And he's going to play Kucherov 100 times in his career, so I'm not worried about him not being able to play Kucherov. What was great was he was able to sit and see what Kucherov does from up top, where you can actually see things develop. And I'm pretty sure he sees a lot of Kucherov in himself. So it was good for him to get up there and see that and not kind of get that feeling of being up against one of, I'm assuming one of his most favorite players in the NHL right now. So that was the first game. The second game, when he got scratched, I was like, they played well. He needed a break. The team wasn't playing well. That was the first game they actually played pretty well. So I was like, why change it? Let him get another rest. And he came back, and you might say it was crappy for him to be scratched, but he had two back-to-back 2-point games and becomes the Flyers rookie record holder for multiple points per game, and we're only 18 games in the season. So that was the Michkov scratch. The other things with Torts is it's not going to work for every player. You know what I mean? Like the
Mm.
things he does, he just plays the odds, I feel like. And um, for instance, the Anthony Richard thing, like playing Michkov with Anthony Richard, and we were like, what is he doing? Well, Anthony Richard, I have here, has 6 points in 5 games. He's played
Yep.
28 games in his entire career in the NHL, and he has 6 points in 5 games with the Flyers.
Looks good. Looks really good.
Looks good. So,
Yeah.
like, sometimes the scratches work, sometimes they don't, and I think with Michkov it worked.
Right.
And Torts would have to do a lot to lose me at this point, I feel like.
I just worry at what point does it get old, right? I mean, at what
Yeah,
point do
it's
you
going to
need
get old
him
real quick.
real quick? And I think
Yeah,
we're right at that tipping point now where it's like the scratching. Yeah, Mitchkov.
yeah,
I think Mitchkov, no matter what you did, you could scratch him for
yeah,
a week. He'd come back
yep,
and still put up 3 points. So that kid's an
yeah,
auto.
yeah, exactly.
He's a
Yeah,
walking +2. So
yeah.
I'm just talking about the fringe guys that you just don't see it
Hmm.
from. Now that might not even be his fault. That just might be because they're DS players and dog poop
Yeah. And
players.
your point about scratching Michkov and not Farabee and Lawton, like I get, well, Lawton is basically your only
Yeah.
other center outside of Coots and Frost, and obviously if Frost is not playing, that means Lawton's there.
Yeah.
Um, but you do have a point with the Farabee thing. Yeah, Farabee he's looked better in these past few games, but Farabee needs to score, just like Forster.
You just
Forster needs to score.
you need him to be more than what he is.
Yeah,
And if he's
I'm
just a
tired of
guy,
waiting for defensive players to get their offense going. Like
right? And
Farabee isn't young anymore, you
no,
know?
no. Um, yeah, and I think that's where it is. Where it's like patience is fine, patience is good, and you're going to need patience in a rebuild. But where we're at in the rebuild, it just feels like if you and I can see it, these two, what are they giving you?
Yeah,
and it's not going to get any
exactly.
better. So it's like, all right, let's move this along a little bit. Look, trades are hard to make, especially in season before the trade deadline. So we'll see how that kind of shakes out when we get to it. But you know what I mean? It's Danny's on the clock at this point, and see if we can kind of jumpstart it a little bit with what you have.
Yep.
So we'll see how
I
it
feel
goes
like
on.
maybe after the holiday roster freeze, you start seeing some things in motion. We're already hearing rumors of people being interested in some of the guys on the team, so that's already good to hear.
Right. Rumors are that Minnesota is interested in Farabee, which you can take him. I'll drive you to the Twin Cities if you want. I'll carry him on my back if you need be.
Yeah.
We'll see what we can get there.
Is there anybody you want from Minnesota though? Like,
I mean, look, at a certain point, you could take the pick. I don't even care. You know what I mean? Because it's like
got a lot of picks, yeah.
Right. And for me, it's more of addition by subtraction. And let's give somebody else a shot, right? You've got Denoye down in Anaheim in the AHL. I don't know what the hell. Why was I thinking Anaheim? Where did I get that?
You're thinking of Quitter Gauthier, probably.
And yeah, maybe. And I don't know if you've been.
Congratulations on your first ever goal in the NHL, by the way, Cutter.
William, great job.
It only took you 20 games. Congratulations. Great. And you lead the NHL in shots, basically. So your shooting percentage is fantastic, dude.
Attitude at a 0 and damage at 100. But down in Lehigh Valley, Gendron is picking it up too. A couple goals in his last couple games. Looking really good. Yes.
His shot's looking totally different this year.
Real good. Samu Tuamala. Give him a shot.
That's what I'm excited about.
You know what I mean?
He needs to come up.
You have these guys down in Lehigh, which they have upside. What you have with Frost and Farabee right now are just flatlining. This is what they are. They might give you a goal or two here and there, but 15, 16 goals a season. You need more. You need more from guys that are your top 6, and it's not good. Looking down the notes that we have, I mean, you're spot on. You've got guys playing out of position, right, on a good team.
And you also have a bunch of redundant players.
Correct.
Like, I have the list here, and you could basically pick any player on this team, and they're so redundant. And to your point, like, maybe it is time to just move on from Farabee and the likes of Farabee and Brink, because they're going to get you something. They're worth something. But, like, even looking down in the AHL, outside of the players that I said were redundant, like Richard and Lawton, Paling, Farabee, Frost, Cates, they're all the same player, Tuamala is a better Bobby Brink, in my opinion. He's faster, he's got a better shot, and that's what Torts likes. He likes that speed. So you're right. Like, these guys can step up. Tuamala is not. I mean, he's young, but he's not young. He's not a teenager. Right. And same thing with Gendron and Denoye. Like, one of those two is going to make this team. And Tuamala, I think, is on track. And I after today, I know they called up Helge Grant because of the injuries on the D line. Yeah. But I think Tuamala is coming up very soon.
Yeah, and then you look down the D-corps, too. You got York, Sanheim, Andre, Zamula. Andre's not going to go anywhere. He's been great. Zamula is taking a step back. But, Zamula and Sanheim, to me, similar guys in the sense that big, they've got the size. Zamula needs to put on some weight, and that's been his bugaboo for the entire career. But Sanheim and Zamula, solid D, I guess, but, like, they're big guys that don't really use the body that much. You got Hunter McDonald now cracking the lineup down in the AHL, 6'4", 235 and growing.
And he got even bigger.
And the attitude is what I like the most. The mean guy.
Oh, yeah.
Scary to play against, and you're going to take a look behind your shoulder when you see him coming. So that's what you're...
When somebody pulls the trigger on playoff Risto this trade deadline, then he's your Risto replacement.
Yeah, for sure. And that's exciting for me. It's like, what are we going to get for him? We'll see how that pans out. Been playing pretty well. Could help its team, definitely not as your number 1 or number 2, but really a depth guy. 4 to 6.
Yeah.
Um, and in the playoffs, his style of play is going to be super important.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Everybody's
so
been drooling over playoff Risto, so
playoff
let somebody
Risto
have them.
for sale. We're going to put a sign outside the Wells Fargo Center. Take Risto from us, but hopefully we catch it. You got to have one of those, especially along the lines in this the timeline that we're in here. You're going to
Yeah.
need a big trade and a trade that you win, and I think this one is going to be one of the most important ones in the process, because I think that's the
Yeah.
biggest piece that you have to get the most return moving forward. So I'm really, really interested to see what the return will be on that. And that's, where
Yeah.
Danny's got to step up here. Like I liked so far what he's done with, I mean, there hasn't been too much in in terms of trades, in terms of moves. I mean, you have, what you have in the AHL drafts have been good.
Hmm.
But we'll see how, how it's almost hit time for him to shine as well. So far he's been kind of hands off a little bit,
Yeah,
more so than I'd
I
like.
think one of the
But
I think one of his things is we've always heard that the trades are hard and stuff like that, and he's shown that he can think outside the box and have some good
Chuck
trades.
Fletcher
One,
said that. All right.
Chuck,
So,
yeah,
and I
Chuck
think
Fletcher
that
said
was
trades are
because
hard.
he was looking
When
at
you're
his
using
app.
an app to make trades, it's really hard.
He was looking at his app and
Um,
he's like, "Oh, this is hard. Difficulty very high."
um, However, I feel like there's been, how locked down they are with rumors and stuff like that. They've
Oh
been
yeah.
very locked down since the Briere regime. But a couple of things that have come out are the fact that there are trades that Danny has turned down that were big trades. And I don't think big trades happen overnight or happen in a month. I think they happen within years. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
you circle back that at the next trade line and be like, oh, well, you wanted Risto last year, you still want him this year. Let's work something else out. And I do think we're about to part with a player, and I have a feeling we might not be too happy about who we lose. We're gonna get something back in return that's worth it. But I just have a feeling that one of the
Does
players
Ace?
such
Well, hold
as
on. Does Ace have inside information? It sounds like he's got an insider.
I have
Breaking
two real
news.
insiders. I have
You
two
do.
direct insiders.
You do
Yeah,
have insiders.
but
I
no,
know that for a fact.
nobody said anything recently about it.
Okay.
But like one of the things I've heard all the time is like, for instance, I'll give you one of the ones that I heard over the summer is Columbus is still pushing hard on the Flyers, and I think the Flyers wanted what's his name, the defenseman, the new one that they drafted, Juracek. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Juracek. I think Columbus is trying to find more forwards to play with the likes of Fantilli and stuff like that. So they've been pushing hard. I know they want Forrester. They've been going after Forrester for a while. Um, I don't think it's gonna be like a Morgan Frost trade like we all
No.
want. It's gonna be. But the people who are gonna probably be traded are the Farabys, the Emil Andres, which people would be upset at now if Emil Andre got traded. Maybe even people like Cam Bjork now that Sanheim's playing as well as he is. I think you have to give up something to really get something back in
Yeah.
return. And Columbus has been pushing the Flyers since last trade deadline about a trade.
Well, and I think D would make more sense in our situation to trade. I mean, we have kind of I don't want to say a surplus because it sounds like you have too many really, really good defensemen, but I think right now we have too many serviceable defensemen that belong in the NHL. And we'll see how it pans out. Andre still is young and could blossom into a whatever.
Andre isn't going anywhere. If he could stay healthy, he's going to be a top 3 defenseman on this team. He's really he is such a better NHL player than he is in any other league and that I've seen.
Yeah.
So Andre's probably, if he's on the Flyers, he's staying.
Yeah, he's your Kimmo Timonen clone right now, and he just the body style, just the way he looks, the way he kind of just is calm in his own zone.
He's slightly more offensive than Kimmo was, though. You know what I mean? Kimmo was probably a little bit more defensive, and Andre's a little more offensive, but they're in the same mold exactly.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that he just reminds you of him, and that's just a great thing. I mean, if you get a team in, then you're good to go. So we'll see how that pans out.
Don't forget, we do have some bargaining chips in goal too. Now
we do.
That Kolosov has looked like an NHL goalie. Fedotov has looked like an NHL goalie. Ersson's injured again as always, but
And that's fine. And the problem that we did have, and we were circling back to the problems that we had on this team. The problem that we did have in Ivan Fedotov seems to have rectified itself, because the last couple of games, you don't win that Ottawa game without him.
Yeah, I'm not airing any grievances with him. He's looked good.
No, he's looked really, really good. Totally flipped his season around, and I guess it makes sense, right? Coming over, you haven't played too many games in an NHL rink, and so took him a few games, but it looks pretty good now.
I think it's time we probably start giving Kim Dillaball some congratulations here, because he's been with this team forever, and somehow he takes goalies that shouldn't be as good as they are, and he somehow makes them above average almost, if that makes any sense.
Oh, for sure.
I can't remember when he came over. I want to say it was at the beginning of the Fletcher era, maybe. But he's taken a lot of goalies that shouldn't even be in the NHL. Now, Cal Peterson, no one can fix Cal Peterson. That's just
only the Lord can fix Cal Peterson. He may be.
Apparently, the AHL is where he is the best.
Oh, he's an AHL superstar for sure.
Oh, he is. He's going to be an all-star.
When it comes to the NHL, he may be the worst goalie I've ever seen. Yeah. He may be. And I've seen some bad goalie play in the city of Philadelphia. Trust me on that one, Ace.
Oh, yeah.
But when I say he might be the worst, he might be the worst. So he should stay in Lehigh Valley. You can be an AHL all-star there. Please.
There you go. Bring us that Calder Cup.
Dude, I don't care who gets hurt. Just point up in the stands. Has anybody played goalie ever in their lives? Okay. You come down and you play, because Cal is garbage. Cal
sign that emergency backup goalie just to follow us everywhere.
Here comes an e-bug. It doesn't matter. He's got one. Ladies and gentlemen, he's got one leg, but he's a better option than Cal.
We brought a sledge hockey player in to play goalie today.
He's on a sled. Look at this. So
have you watched sledge hockey, by the way?
I have.
Dude, those guys are nuts.
Pretty brutal. Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
That scares the hell out of me. And I have both my legs, and that would scare the hell out of me.
Well, imagine having the mindset of a hockey player, but then having your legs taken away from you, like Lieutenant Dan. You're going to be pissed off. So now you're even more pissed on a sled. Those guys are brutal, slashing each other and everything. It's great.
Yeah, so they need a professional league. That would be fun to watch.
That would be fun to watch. I want to play it.
Yeah, it'd be fun. I've tried. I don't even know how to sit in that thing.
Oh, it's hard.
It doesn't. I'm bad. Anyway.
So Fedotov, he may be a net. I haven't looked at the lineup yet, if they even released it yet.
Tonight is Kolosov.
Kolosov in net tonight, so that'll be good. Get the kid some time in there.
Yeah.
Against the Colorado Avalanche.
Oh, man. I'm worried.
He's Cale Makar.
He's either going to be great or he's going to get his ass lit. I don't know if you saw I don't know if you saw the stats, but like Nathan McKinnon is running away right now in points.
Yeah.
He has like 34 points in 18 games or something crazy like that. Yeah.
34 points in 18 games, but they are at 500.
33 points.
Yeah.
That's weird. I guess he's the only one on the team scoring, because when you take a look at the leaders, I mean, Cale Makar is 9th in the league with 25 points. That your defenseman is 9th in the league in points. That's probably not good for your standings.
No. So yeah, Flyers 8-8-2 right now, going up against Colorado at 7 p.m. at the Wells Fargo Center. So we'll see how that goes. Should be a good test for them. 4 in a row, going for 5 in a row. 5 times.
Wow, let's get a regulation win. I'd like to get another regulation win. Those are good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how sustainable.
I know everybody wants that loser point.
You don't care about the loser point when you're playing the West Coast teams, but you can't really have you can't give up a 3-goal lead to San Jose.
That was bad.
That Ottawa game should not have won that game either. Needed
we should have lost the San Jose Sharks game. We deserved to lose that game.
Ottawa, to lose it.
We didn't deserve to win that game.
I mean, look, those games are going to happen throughout the season where a few times you're going to, you're just going to get bailed out by a goalie or something like that. And that's what happens. So, tough team in Ottawa. They look good today, this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
G's got 5 goals. Good for him, man.
Come on home. Come home, Jesus.
The prodigal son. He was lost, but he's returned. That would be great. I would love to.
Now
we'll get that. We'll get into that later, but that's probably not going to happen. But it would be fun. All right, let's stop here. Tonight, Wells Fargo Center, like I said, 7 p.m. The Colorado Avalanche. So we'll see how that goes. We'll talk about it on the next one. Episode 12 is done. The grievances have been aired. And we'll see you next time, Ace. Appreciate it, dude.
Yep. Have a good one, man.
Look at that. 25 minutes.
On the dot.
It's good. That was good.
Nice.
Yeah, that was nice.